This is Logical Logistics, where we cover shipping, supply chain, logistics, and everything in between. Welcome to the show. All right, welcome to Logical Logistics. Today's guest is Will Schneider, and he is from warehousingandfulfillment.com. Will, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing very well. Thank you, Joe.
So why don't you give us a little background on yourself, and then we'll dive deep into the service that you provide.
Sure, absolutely. I kind of ended up in an industry that I never would have imagined. Started my career in accounting, of all things. Got an undergraduate in accounting and worked for one of the big five firms at the time, and eventually kind of got into some process auditing and was really just fascinated by the overall thought process of how businesses tick and kind of how they run and improving processes and procedures, and but didn't find that I enjoyed the accounting piece as much, believe it or not, after getting a degree. So after working in audit, had some opportunities to kind of get into an MBA program, and I thought that might be something that opens up the door for a little bit more broader business types of functions that I could participate in the business world. So after I got out of grad school, basically went to work for an online lead generation company in the insurance space, and learned a wealth of information about online marketing. This was kind of in the beginning stages of the internet boom, but a wonderful organization I worked for, and had an opportunity to really just learn from the ground floor in a small business. And that's where I really kind of got the itch, if you will, to start a business of my own. I kind of knew that was there in the backdrop for a long time, but certainly while I worked in the online lead industry in insurance, of all places, we help companies, our businesses rather, find insurance companies and get quotes for their car, home, health, and life insurance. And being that it was a small business, I had an opportunity to take on a lot of different roles and responsibilities, and just was fascinated with being able to run, the notion of running a business and being able to make an impact in a big way at a small company. And while working there, through some contacts, had an opportunity to meet a gentleman who ran a fulfillment company, with a small privately based fulfillment company, and he was looking for someone to bring in to help not only with the accounting piece, but also with the general operation and running the company. He wanted to take a little bit of a back seat on that. So I jumped at the opportunity to get into the space, not knowing a whole lot about fulfillment, even what it was.
Not to interrupt you, but what year are we talking right now?
That was back in roughly 2000-ish.
Okay.
And so essentially what we did was the whole e-commerce internet fulfillment piece was really in its infancy. We helped with a lot of larger companies with their in-store distribution of the anything that took to run a store. We did a lot of that. We did a lot of kitting. A lot of work with credit card processing. Some of the Victoria's Secrets and Banana Republics at the time. Just the gift cards that go out in the mail. But learned a great deal there about the fulfillment industry, and then thought to myself, why not put together both the fulfillment piece and the online lead generation piece, and kind of meld them together, and in doing so, really kind of satisfy the ultimate goal in the backdrop, which was to run my own company. And I put those two things together and formulated warehousingandfulfillment.com, which essentially is an online marketplace where businesses can find warehousing and fulfillment companies that would meet the needs of their project.
Excellent. So in what year did you start that?
Started that in 2005.
Okay.
So we'll celebrate our 11th year in operation here in July.
Oh, that's great. So what kind of companies contact you? I mean, how does the process work with warehousing, fulfillment, and fulfillment.com?
Sure. So we generate opportunities, either businesses that are looking to outsource their warehousing and fulfillment function. We do all of the marketing for this online. So these are people that are proactively searching for their business. What we see in the cross-section in terms of the folks that are looking for this service online, I mean, it's a wide spectrum. It runs the gamut from, a small startup business to, large, the biggest of the big companies out there. Of course, those are less frequent, but the vast majority of people that are looking are in that small and mid-tier business category. But they might be looking for, a short-term warehouse space, overflow, cross-docking, or they may need the whole function. They may need warehousing and fulfillment of orders. It may be to the retail clients. It may be to direct to consumer. So we see a huge cross-section of, all different shapes and sizes and certainly, of course, all different types of commodities and products.
All right. So a company wants to warehouse outsource their business, their warehousing and logistics services. How do they find you? And then what's the process? How are the, I would say, probably logistics companies contacted? How does the process work?
Sure. So over the course of that 10-year period, we've been talking to the various warehousing and fulfillment companies throughout the U.S. and Canada as our predominant market. And so we've been talking to folks, learning about what their capabilities are. We're always trying to expand that and find new companies that offer warehousing and fulfillment services and do a great job for companies. But we try to learn what they can and can't do, and we log all of that in our database so that when a prospect comes to us, and they find us in many ways online, so that's going to be through searching on the search engines. We do a lot of internet marketing in terms of paid search, in terms of organic marketing. We advertise on other sites that are very relevant within our niche. We do a lot of content marketing in terms of pushing out pieces of content on our websites that we think are valuable to people that would potentially use our service. But they find us through searching online for these types of services. And then once they hit our site, what we do is we have a conversation with them based on what their project needs are, what they're looking for in a potential provider. And then essentially we, at that point, can do a query in our system that says, okay, these are the parameters, these are the data points of what this particular customer needs, who in our database would be a fit for that. And then we make an online connection between the two sets of the actual prospect, the business looking, and usually between 2 and 5 different warehouses that would be a fit for their business. And then those warehouses then get sent all the information about the project, and they go ahead and contact the business and talk to them more specifically about the needs, get them a proposal, and compete for the business.
Oh, okay. Now you mentioned a database. How does that work?
So we have about 45 different points of what we call screening, things that we look at in terms of what a warehouse can and can't do. These can be things from, do you offer hazardous warehousing services? Do you focus on business to consumer or business to business types of transactions? We learn about the different technology systems that they use. So there's a wealth of information that we collect in our database, and that's essentially the backbone to it all. We use that to make the connections, because we may have a company that, for example, sells apparel products and is looking for someone, a warehouse that's very technology savvy, that might be able to integrate with their various systems that they use. So they have maybe a very specific need to be met, and they need that to be located in Texas. So we would then be able to use our database of information that we've collected to very quickly point them in the direction of companies that would be appropriate.
All right. So what are you seeing right now? Now you started in 2005, correct?
Correct.
All right. So what kind of trends are you seeing since then, currently, the present trend compared to what you saw in 2005? Did you start out with a bang and then it slumped and it grew, or is there a steady growth? What do you see there?
Interestingly enough, it has been a steady growth over time. It certainly didn't start out with a bang. You kind of start off the business thinking that you've got a wonderful idea and it's just going to take off, and that happens every once in a blue moon. But in our case, we're very similar to other companies where it just took some time to grow. Over the course of the last 10 years, there's been a real shift in the whole fulfillment world. With technology, I think it's really allowed a lot more people to jump into the mix and be able to offer products online at the Amazons.com, and just the ability to very quickly put up a website and to be able to offer products online. So it gives people, and then you kind of put that in the mix along with the challenges that we've had in the economy on broader base, and the recession that we've gone through, and just the challenge that people have had with losing jobs and being able to, I think there's been almost a sense of empowerment that people could go out and forge their own path with starting something on their own. So we've seen in the last couple of years, I think in line with what has been going on in the overall logistics industry, it's just a real increase especially in the e-commerce fulfillment arena. So these are people, companies that are going out there and offering products for sale on websites, and we've seen a real growth in that arena. We've also seen a real growth in just the savviness of the people that are out there, even in the smaller and mid-tier range in terms of order volume per month. And these smaller companies are really becoming quite savvy in terms of the needs that they're looking to have met. I had a conversation the other day with a business that was looking to outsource, and they do only a couple hundred orders per month now, but they have a real sophisticated process in terms of the software that they're using, and they were very particular about who they wanted to get connected with in terms of being able to meet those specific needs on technology, so that they could really address the specific needs of their particular customers and be able to really provide a wonderful customer experience for their users. So to me, the two biggest things that we've seen in the shift has just been in the increase in the growth in the e-commerce fulfillment world, as well as just the savviness of the business user, and of these, in particular, smaller businesses, and just the needs and requirements at that level.
So, is this just domestic companies here in the United States, or do you get international inquiries?
So we get quite a few of international inquiries.
Okay.
So these are companies that may not have any kind of exposure in the U.S., but do great business overseas, and they're looking to enter the market. So they're kind of a startup in a sense in the U.S. market, but they have a wealth of experience overseas. And so we get quite a few of those. Also, because we do service and proactively market in the USA and Canada, we do get a number of requests from Canadian companies looking to do distribution of that product within the U.S. more competitively, without the time and delays and the cost of cross-border shipping and such.
Okay. Now, what areas? These are international companies that are looking to warehouse in the United States. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. What geographic? Are you seeing any trends in geographic areas where there's more of a demand for your service than in other areas? For example, when you just brought up startup, you instantly think of the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose, Silicon Valley. Are you seeing certain areas like the San Jose area as compared to other parts of the country, or is it all the same? What's your analysis show?
Excuse me. So I think that the biggest areas that we see the volume are going to be Southern California market, okay, and then in the tri-state area. And I think the Southern California market, just intrinsically, when people and they may not have a full understanding of logistics and where, it may make more sense to have a location in a different area, but that's just like the first thing that pops into their mind when they think of bringing their product in from overseas is dropping it into Southern California. So that may have some to do with why we see that, but we see an enormous volume in Southern California. We also see a fairly considerable volume in the tri-state area as well, for similar reasons, only on the East Coast. So I think those are two areas that we have consistently seen much higher volume than other areas of the country. Certainly we have seen some growth over the last couple of years in the Northern California market as the tech industry has expanded and the startup industry has really exploded. We have seen some of that as well. And then I think all of these things that we've talked about in terms of the most high volume areas that we've seen really pertains to the fulfillment industry. When it comes to, just more straight warehousing and cross-docking, I'd say there's more of an equal distribution throughout some different areas within the country. Usually when a company, we found in our experience with the people that use our service at least, is when they need more of just a straight warehousing type of a scenario or a cross-docking scenario. There's a particular area that they're looking to target, and it's for a very specific reason usually. So they would need it to be within a certain distance of the city most frequently, and that tends to kind of broaden the area that they may be looking throughout the U.S. But in terms of order fulfillment, just fulfillment services, e-commerce fulfillment, we've seen the bulk of the requests coming in through those two areas, and then a somewhat equal distribution throughout the U.S. otherwise.
Okay, so Southern California, you're talking Los Angeles or San Diego?
More so the greater LA area.
Okay. All right, and a wide array of companies, or any like tech companies. What are they looking at?
So it is just a wide variety of customers. We see every different shape and size. Some of our filters are specific to trying to address the more common types of commodities that we see, things such as food grade types of products or apparel. Things along those lines. But we just literally, the thing that fascinates me most, and one of the things that I enjoy most about doing just the business that we're in, is being able to see all the different shapes and sizes of businesses out there. But looking at all the different types of things every day, I think that I've seen it all in terms of a new product that's out there, and then something comes along that smacks us upside the head, and we're just fascinated with the different things that people are coming up with. So. Certainly have we seen an increase in some things like tech products, and as an example, the wearable devices. We've seen a lot more of those types of things pop up over the last couple of years. So you see some things that fit with the trends that are going out there on a broader basis, but just on the aggregate, we see every different type of commodity and product. It's a real fascinating thing.
So one of the great byproducts of your company is that you actually have a window to the U.S. economy as a whole. That's what I'm gathering here.
I think so, albeit small. We have an interesting window into it, and we can kind of see some of the broader trends that are going on. And so certainly it has been an interesting thing being able to see that and then kind of juxtapose that with what's going on in the U.S. economy.
So to just summarize everything what we've been talking about, warehousingandfulfillment.com is a great tool on both ends for companies that are looking to outsource and also companies that provide logistics services to find those companies. You provide a connection between the two.
That's right. We kind of think of ourselves as a matchmaking service. You have, when you think about how companies have to go about finding one another out there. So either, if you're the business that's looking for a fulfillment solution, perhaps somebody that, also has used a fulfillment service or a warehousing company in the past. That's usually pretty rare, but in those instances, you can reach out to that person in your network and learn about their experiences with the company. But otherwise, you kind of have to go out there A lot of times, as the growth of the internet and the searches that are being conducted out there, it's like that's what we do now. We go online and we search something out. And so, if you do that, though, a lot of times what you have to sort through is you go to all the individual companies' websites, and anybody can say whatever they want on their site. So we're all going to put our best foot forward on our website. There's really no vetting or no third party kind of verification, if you will, of the company. But you have to go through and individually check and contact each of the warehouses and then make some assumptions. So we kind of make that process easier. We have conversations with companies, and learn about what they can and can't do. So we kind of expedite that whole process. And then similarly for the warehouse, you've got to go out there. I know I've been in those shoes before, running a fulfillment company, especially a smaller one. I had to have my feet on the ground all the time, trying to drive new sales for the business. So kind of the chief salesperson of the company, and you're always out there pounding the pavement. So trying to find new opportunities is so important. And we have those companies that are coming to us, looking for it proactively so we can connect warehouses with opportunities of people that would meet the needs of what they'd be able to provide. So we try to help out both sides of the equation and do it, in an unbiased fashion.
So the great thing about this is that you're using updated technology, which is awesome. And in using that technology, you are just you have grassroots economics and commerce as a result, which I think is great. That's the way I think that modern technology should be used. It
Right.
seems that, it seems nowadays a lot of people just rely way too much on email and not a lot of contact. You're actually using up-to-date technology to create a grassroots commerce. It's economics 101.
Right. And what we've been doing recently, we're trying to expand that because I'm a little bit of the old school nature that, kind of relationship building is very important, with the technology. Kind of one of the downsides of it is that you can kind of hide behind it and it becomes something that, doesn't allow for a whole lot of personal interaction and such. So what we're trying to do is leverage both sides. We've recently been doing some upgrades to our system to where what we're looking to do is get a lot more feedback from both sides of the equation, but in particular with the people that are looking for a warehouse provider, is just why are they making the decisions that they're making? What do they have thoughts about the people as they interacted with them? And can we then, use that information stored in our database, provide that more in a real-time fashion to the warehouses in our network, so that then they can kind of tweak their process in terms of how they're conducting their sales process and try to improve it. So yeah, I think that leveraging the technology, if done in the right way, and it takes time and takes a collection of a wealth of information to be able to do it. But ultimately, that's our vision, is trying to improve upon that so that we can make a better customer experience for the person looking, and then also for the warehouse out there that's competing against other warehouses to try to grow their business.
So where do you see the economy and the industry as a whole? What does the future look like to you?
I think that it's a real interesting time. I mean, certainly we're based out of the Dallas, Texas area here, and we're starting to see some of the guinea pig programs of the Amazon delivery services, of literally having people, individuals, go out there and deliver packages to doors so that we can get it there within hours. The expectations that are out there in terms of the user experience are growing exponentially, it seems. So I think that there's going to be, even more, kind of movement in that direction where companies are really going to be pressed, warehousing and fulfillment companies, to deliver higher and higher expectations of consumers. They're going to want products quicker. The technology that's going to be necessary is going to have to grow. And it's a real interesting conundrum for a lot of warehousing and fulfillment companies out there. There's a historical kind of sense that these types of companies are a little bit behind in the times sometimes. So I think that for some it's going to be a game of a little bit of catch up to try to implement some of the newer technologies and to really find ways to more leverage more technology to be able to enhance the overall experience, and that's from the sales cycle itself all the way to the delivery of the customer's products to their end customers. So I think there's a lot that the general just average warehousing and fulfillment company is going to have to do to kind of compete in this new space. It's just evolving at rapid speed. So we see a lot of those changes, especially in terms of the user experience and the expectations of consumers these days.
Do you feel that Amazon's the driver in all of this, the main force?
I think there's certainly one of them. Just a real innovative company. That there's the 100-pound gorilla in the room. I mean, they have captured an enormous market share with what they do, and so certainly with their fulfillment by Amazon service, I mean, it's a big player in the industry. They're able to handle large and small requests. I think what they're doing in terms of pushing the envelope on the delivery time windows, and also on the cost side of things, it's just it certainly is having an impact on the industry. So I would tend to agree with that statement that they're one of the driving forces behind things, at least at this point in time.
All right. So my final question is a question I ask all my guests. What does logistics mean to you?
So to kind of go a little bit further on what we've been talking about, I think it really revolves to me around the user experience, and certainly, in our time now in the age of the internet and social media and every aspect of the internet, like a warehouse, if they drop the ball, that could be on social media and passed all the way around to all of their friends and their network within moments. So I think that the big thing to us about logistics is the user experience, and really just doing everything possible to make that experience the best that it can be at a profitable level, of course. But I think it's really about just driving a wonderful customer experience and delivery of product, and keeping up with all the changes in the technology and being able to do a wonderful job so that people would be raving about the service.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you once again. Our guest today is Will Schneider. And Will, what is the best way for people to contact you? Companies, individuals?
Sure. Best way is to go to warehousing and fulfillment.com, and that and is spelled out AND, warehousing and fulfillment.com. Go ahead and feel free to give us a call on the phone with the contact number listed there, or fill out one of our forms. We'll be happy to help you out in any way that we can. Great.
Well, thanks for joining Logical Logistics, and we'll see you in the next episode. And we'll see you next time on Logical Logistics.
Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download us and review us on iTunes. Visit www.beslogistics.net for more logistics, transportation, and warehousing resources. Thanks for watching.